What's up, fam? You already know what it is. Birds of a feather. Your boy Chucks, your boy Jeff, and your boy Pete. Like, share, subscribe, A2D on all platforms. Roll that footage.
That's my baby. That's my baby.
We're going at it at 110%.
I just want 5 minutes of happiness, please. Just give me 5 minutes.
And they scored. They did it.
Left, beat left.
What the hell was that? Oh, yeah.
What the fuck are you talking about?
What's good, ladies and gentlemen? It is Birds of a Feather. We are back another week to bring it to you on Facebook, on Twitter, on YouTube, on Instagram, all over. We are on Apple Podcasts, wherever you download your podcast. It's myself, your boy Chucks. Got my boy Pete over here to my left. And then below me, we got your boy Jeff. What's good, gentlemen? How are you this week?
Cannot complain, brother. Cannot complain. It's hot. I know that. It's hot.
It is hot. It is hot. Thank God for air conditioning. Thank God. But we got a great show for you guys tonight. We're a little late, had some technical difficulties, and we do apologize, but we will get an hour show ready for you as usual. But first, we got to hit our sponsors. I failed to mention our first sponsor, but Paul Vidal of Specialized Physical Therapy, LLC. Make sure you find him in Burlington, Cherry Hill, Princeton campus. Also, they're giving 20% off everything in store, including hats, shirts, Team Cornell sets to all subscribers. Fully drinkers, make sure you get all your A2D radio merchandise there. We've got Manscaped. Make sure you get 20% off and free shipping with the code A2D at Manscaped. That's a great present for all guys out there. And for our sponsor, for our poll, Body Check Wellness, which you use our promo code A2D for 20% off. Our poll question: any NFC East team can win the division in 2021. Agree or disagree? We're going to talk NFC East today. So I want to know, guys, is the division up for grabs? We're going to talk about that. We are also going to go position by position, and we are going to pick out the Birds of a Feather 2021 All NFC East team. So we'll see how many players from each team in the division wind up on that All NFC East roster. And then if we have time, we will get into other news for the Eagles. I personally do not know how Zach Ertz is still on this team. It's mid-July. What is going on? But, hey, we still have time. But anyway, I don't want to waste any more time because we are limited on time here, and I definitely want to get into our exercise. But let's answer the poll question real quick before we do so. Pete, is the division up for grabs to any team in the division?
I mean, theoretically, you would have to agree to the poll. I mean, there's so many different variables. You know what I mean? I don't want to sit here and get into, like, I'm not big on math, but I mean, yeah, you have to agree any team in the NFC East can win a division. I mean, there's so many different things outside of the control. I mean, in the context as you're keeping it in, we're not saying if everybody stays healthy, if team's best or team's best. I mean, you never know what can happen. There's so many different things from coaching staffs to players taking a step back, players taking a step forward. So you would have to agree to the poll. Are there long shots in the division? Hell yeah, there's long shots in the division. Hell, Vegas will tell you that. You try to pick the futures right now. But still, I'm pretty sure there's a bet out there for the Eagles to win the NFC East. I'm pretty sure it has the best odds out of any team in the division, but the odds are there. That's not off the table. You know what I mean? So that means that there is always a chance. There's always a chance. So I definitely agree to the poll.
Yeah, I agree to it as well. Look, anything can happen in the NFL. That's why they play the games. It's any given Sunday. Anything can happen in this league. We saw it last year. Everyone expected the Dallas Cowboys to steamroll this division. Dak Prescott gets hurt. Washington football team, they come in and win that division with a losing record. So with how bad all these teams have played last year, granted, I feel all four teams made some upgrades. They all do still have some weaknesses, but anything can happen. Jalen Hurts can ball out. Daniel Jones can have a breakout season. They get Barkley back. Dak's health, we don't know what's going to happen there. And then Washington football team, they upgraded at the quarterback position, and they're the division winners a year ago. So I honestly feel until we see what happens on the field, right now I feel it's definitely up for grabs with all four of these teams until one team shows you that they are better than the rest.
Good stuff. I also agree to the poll. You know, I tried to think of an interesting way to play into this, but like at the end of the day, I was like, I'll just go with this. But like the reason why I went with this question because I wanted to see if anyone would disagree, because I wanted to see if anyone think it really is like if any team, including the Eagles, are just so too big of a question mark to say, yeah, they can win the division. I think, like you said, Pete, they are long shots. I definitely see that. I think most likely a realistic scenario is like the second or third seed. Second, like, is lofty, but I think it's possible. I think it's the chances are a lot more significant and a lot higher than winning the division. But I think it's possible, you know, winning second or third in the division. Plus, the division has never been. It's been years since the division winner
17
and like a 13-win team. You know what I mean? 2017
and no back-to-back for 17 years.
Yeah, and no repeat division winner, and like so. I think it's always a dogfight within this division, particularly because with all teams know each other so well. No matter how good or bad one team is, they always play each other close because they know each other. So it'll be very interesting. I do agree to the poll. I think it's very possible. It's not out of the realm of the possibility. Injuries could happen to any team. Sirianni could be the next coming of, I don't know, Kyle Shanahan.
You got to say Doug Peterson for here.
Doug Peterson for here, yeah.
Or even Andy.
You know, anything could happen. And, you know, like we've had first-year head coaches before do really well. Remember Chip Kelly's first year, we made the play. We won the division, made the playoffs. So, I mean,
10-6?
Yeah, 10-6. So it's possible. I don't think it's likely, but it's possible.
Yeah.
All right. We got some comments in the chat. Brian Daly says, what's up? So does David Harris. Vespi says, hey, yo, sorry to bother you at work. I agree to the poll. Even a team that is in a rebuild like us, it's possible to win the division. David says the NFC East sucks. And that's true.
It is true.
That's the reason why the Eagles are winning the division. He also follows it up and says the Eagles O-line is going to be good this season. And, yeah, if they can stay healthy, I do agree. I think our O-line can be one of the better, not just in the division, but in the whole league. I think our O-line just needs to stay healthy. Daly says he agrees to the poll. He does believe it's a dogfight for the NFC East. Bryce Blackwell says it's possible, but a lot of questions, which is absolutely fair. Mike McFly says Dallas is the favorite, best QB in overall offense. Defense will improve. I agree, except for the defense. I don't know how much better. I'm skeptical. I'm one of the ones that's skeptical. I'm not a big believer in Dan Quinn. I think he was a product of the roster in Seattle and has rode that success into two jobs. So,
and real quick, with Dan Quinn, people have to realize with Dallas, yes, the offense is the best on paper. We got to see how Dak comes back. Key that nobody's talking about is the offensive line. It's not a strength like it was before. But on defense, if you look at Dan Quinn and that scheme, that Seattle scheme, it needs you can't just scheme and beat people with that scheme. You need talent.
Yeah.
So they have the talent, the consistent talent, the available talent to make it work? I think they'll be better and more improved than they were last year. But I still think they'll average are giving up around 25 to 28 points a game.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
They're going to be poorest defense. I think they'll be the worst in the division, to be honest.
Yeah, Cowboys fans, they're overhyping their defense because they feel Micah Parsons is going to be the answer and be the savior of that defense. And as a Penn State fan, it kills me to have him on the Cowboys. But look, Micah Parsons is going to be a tremendous talent. He's not going to save that defense, no matter how much you think he's going to do this season.
Because the the problem with their defense isn't the front seven.
No.
It's the back end.
Yeah.
It's the back end, exactly. Matt Knotts, he says, I feel like our defense got better over the offseason with the pickups we got. I do agree with that. I do think the Eagles' defense got better. To what extent, we will see. That's the big question, especially with the new defensive coordinator and the new system. That's a big question, but I do believe it will be better. And sad to say, but it's not saying much because the defense was pretty bad last year. But we take any improvements. So thank you guys for commenting. Keep commenting to the poll question, but I want to get right into our little exercise here. I think this is a neat little exercise. And for those listening, we are not doing it where each of us does a team. We as a whole, as a show, have to reach a consensus at each position, which will be very interesting. Yeah. I think for some positions it's going to be like unanimous decision, but there are some positions here where it can get interesting. I think it's going to lead for a good debate, good discussion, but I want to get into it. So we'll go position by position. And remember, for both sides of the ball, our objective here is to put together the best 11 players on the team as possible. So it doesn't like we can go with 2 tight ends, which is 12 personnel if we want to. We can go with 2 running backs, 21 personnel if we want to. Or we can go with 11 personnel and do 3 wide receivers. It's all dependent on how we look at the roster and how we feel is the best talent on the field. So, there's going to be some flexibility with that. And same thing with the defense, which will be even more complicated because we got to decide, hey, are we going to do a 3-4? Are we going to do a 4-3? Are we going to do a nickel? Are we going to do base? Are we going to do big nickel? What are we doing? Are we doing quarter defense? So it's all about getting the best players on the field. That'll determine what personnel we're going to use. But let's get into it first with, of course, the most important position on the roster, the quarterback. I think this is pretty simple. Yeah. I will say this will make it really smooth as we go through the exercise. I'll say who I think should be in there, and then you guys tell me if you agree or disagree. And then if we disagree on stuff, we'll debate and talk it out. But for QB, I think it's pretty clear cut. I think it's going to be Dak Prescott as who you have to put in here. Yeah. I'll agree with. I think it's even with the injury, like he's still the most talented one on the board. Ryan Fitzpatrick is a journeyman QB for the reason. Jalen Hurts is still a big question mark, and Daniel Jones is still a big question mark.
So, are we doing offense and defense tonight, or just offense?
Both.
Okay.
Yeah.
We did have a question out there from an A2D member, Don. Make sure if y'all on YouTube, join that member $9.99. Get that little Jalen Hurts bobblehead next to you with your comments in green. Money pot picks for the members only. But that may be something up for discussion.
Maybe, yeah.
As training camp's near, I know there's probably some fantasy shows in the works, some fantasy insight as we get closer towards the end of the month in early August. Just be on the lookout for that. Maybe we may even throw out a poll out there to see what division y'all want us to do.
Yes, absolutely. All right, so we got Dak Prescott, and I'll keep track. What I'll do is I'll keep track of it as we go along. So we got Dak Prescott in at QB. At running back, I don't know. We might get some disagreements here, but you guys know I'm going to go with Saquon if we're going to go moving forward.
And we're just choosing like RB1.
We'll see. Like we have to pick a running back. So if we're going with running back, the starter is going to be Saquon to me. Any disagreement? So we got Saquon, Zeke, Miles Sanders, and Antonio Gibson.
I mean, out of that corp, I cannot take Saquon.
Yeah.
Jeff,
I'm with Saquon. I'm a bit of Penn State homer, but Zeke's production last season with that banged up offensive line, and Barkley's just a stud. So definitely Saquon.
Okay, so let's go with. We have to do at least 2 wide receivers. So let's do this. Let's go. I'll name the 2 wide receivers I would go with, and I think this is gonna the first position we're gonna get a little bit of discussion because we could end up going with 3, depending on tight end and running back. Who else we want to see there? But 2 wide receivers off the bat. This might be controversial. All right, this might be controversial. But I really do not care that his rookie season wasn't all that great. Because I think he has tremendous talent. So I am going to go with CeeDee Lamb And then for the second wide receiver, I would put Terry McLaurin. Those are my top two. Any disagreements? Because I know you've got Dallas Cowboys are obviously you've got Amari there. You've got what's the third one?
Gallup.
Thank you. Gallup. Giants have Kenny Galladay. They have also Darius Slayton. Obviously, the Eagles, they have Devontae Smith, who we just drafted, so it depends also how high you are on Devontae. The Washington football team have, who I mentioned, Terry McLaurin. So there's a mix of young talent there, but also some proven guys. It depends what route you want to go in, but I'm going with how I see that talent. And I think that CeeDee Lamb has the most talent, and he has played 1 year. He's shown flashes. I think he has superstar potential. I would go Lamb, and I love Terry McLaurin as well. I think he's underrated. He'd be my second guy.
Yeah, look, I feel in a couple of years, as not being a homer as an Eagles fan, but Devontae Smith, I feel in a couple of seasons with the receivers that we have now, will be the best receiver in this division, but you can't put him at that level just yet. But I understand Cowboys fans are going to say, well, Amari Cooper's our number one receiver. He's technically the better talent. I will not bet on Amari Cooper to save my life after 2 years ago when it was the Eagles-Cowboys game and he took himself out of the must-win football game for the division, and he took himself out because he wasn't getting the ball thrown or whatever. He was throwing a hissy fit on the freaking sideline. I will never, ever pick Amari Cooper for anything. So I'm definitely with you on CeeDee Lamb and McLaurin as the number 1 and 2 in the division. Yeah,
with that's the thing with Amari. Like, he's got so much talent, but he disappears way too often. Way too often. Like, I don't like that in my number one receiver. I just don't. Pete.
So I don't give a shit that he's a rookie. So I'm going Devontae Smith.
Okay.
And if we had a wide receiver 3 and our 3 wide receiver set, I would do CD. I need my top 2 wide receivers to be able to win on the outside and go on the inside. I'm not saying CD can't, but I like already better the competitors of Devontae and Terry McLaurin. Terry McLaurin does it all. I mean, route running, speed, and Devontae, I want that same thing on the opposite side of the field. And if I got those 2 guys, and I'm doing the 3 wide receiver set, and I could put CD in the slot and let him work all the underneath all day. Give me that all day.
Okay, so you said for top 2, you said who was it? You would pick
Devontae and Scary Terry.
Okay, so Terry McLaurin, we all agreed on. So I'm going to put Terry McLaurin. He's in. He's definitely in. So the wide receiver 2, that's who we have disagreements on. So this is what I'm doing. This is what I was going to say for if we were going to do a third wide receiver, I was going to say Devontae Smith.
Agreed.
Because you agree with. Okay, so if Pete is doing Devontae as up there, one of the top 2, then I'm going to put Devontae in there.
Okay.
And then we will also go with the third wide receiver for now. So the 3 wide receivers will be McLaurin, Devontae, and then CD. Okay, good. Yeah. All right. So we all do agree for the most part. All right. So Devontae with that third spot, that will be the question mark, but we'll pencil him in for now.
So you're getting called out, Pete. Mike McFly right now is calling you Mr. Homer Simpson up in here.
Mikey McFly, but then right after that, you guys agree with me, so you might as well call all of us homers.
Yeah, you call all of us homers.
I had him as the third option, but I couldn't. I couldn't put him over Scary Terry or Lamb, but man, Devontae's a stud. That's why, I just couldn't feel comfortable. If I'm building a roster now, I'd want him as the third guy. So let's go to tight end. And this is, it's pretty barren.
Yeah.
I don't think it's at all being homerish if I say Dallas, because who else is going to be there? Like, who's the Logan Thomas is in the discussion?
I wouldn't say Logan. You got what is it?
You have Evan Ingram, and
that would be the only other one I was. Yeah, I'm about to say Jarwin, but I would probably say talent wise, Ingram over Dallas.
I don't know. I don't think so.
But see, the thing is with Ingram is kind of that same thing. Like I wouldn't say he's as bad as Amari, but just that want to. You feel what I'm saying? Like this year may be a little bit different just because they did kind of reload on offense. They gave Daniel Jones probably the best skill position core that he's had since he's been there. And because you forget Sterling Shepard is still there as well. But yeah, I mean, it's for me, it's 1A and 1B for Goddard and Ingram. I've always been a fan. I'm kind of biased. I've always been a fan of Ingram. You know what I mean?
I like Ingram. The thing is, I think Goddard is just as good as him as a receiver, not athletically.
Right.
I think Ingram has the slight notch athletically, but as a total receiver, catching the ball and running routes, I think Goddard is just as good. But I think Goddard beats him out when it comes to blocking
as well.
Question. That's why I'd go Goddard. Jeff, what do you think?
Yeah, I go with Dallas. I have a little bit of a strong hatred for Evan Ingram. Every single year, I expect him to break out in fantasy football and pick him as my tight end, a sleeper tight end later in the draft, and he completely lets me down. Evan Ingram, 1 freaking touchdown last year as the starter. At least Dallas Goddard's production has a little bit of a reasoning. The fact that he was technically tight end number 2 behind Zach Ertz, and yeah, he was on the field in a lot of 2 tight end sets, but Ertz was still the main guy.
Yeah.
So I go with Goddard.
I do want to get to Elliot's comment. He says, I'm an Eagles fan. I think y'all are disrespecting Kenny G. I honestly, I like Kenny G a lot. Kenny Golladay is a stud. He's really, really good. So, like, my fault if it made it seem like I was overlooking him. Right. I promise you I'm not. Galladay is a stud. I wouldn't put him over the guys I selected. I like.
Would it be because of versatility? Would it be because of versatility? Just maybe,
how you can use him? Probably. I mean, like he's really good at what he does. He's probably one of the best at that type of wide receiver. I think the talent of the other 3 is better. And it's tough to say because I put Devontae in, even though he hasn't played a snap, but I'm just projecting forward, and based on what we see, like Devontae he's going to be special. So
he's a human highlight reel.
Yeah. So I don't want to make it seem like I'm disrespecting Kenny Golladay because I'm not. Mike McFly says Goddard probably the best tight end. Dynasty 215 says Rudolph. I think Zach Rudolph has been way over the hill. So I wouldn't
Kyle
put
Rudolph.
Competition. Kyle, why is Zach Rudolph? Basketball, God. Okay.
Wow.
Yeah, sorry. I said Zach.
Zach Rudolph's not even the starter on his own team. So how the hell could we put him as the best tight end in the division?
Kyle Rudolph. So Mike McFly says talent-wise in catching the ball, talent Goddard over Ingram.
I was being facetious when I kind of said Ingram, but you got to to say Dallas Goddard is the clear-cut number 1 when he's, for whatever reason, the tight end number 1 is still on his team, quote unquote, and Zach Ertz. We can't even quasi say it's the most unkept, the worst kept secret in the Eagles organization. Like we know Dallas is tight end number 1, but he's not technically tight end number 1 because we haven't got rid of Zach Ertz yet. It's alarming.
Yeah. Elliot does say Kenny Golladay is the only pure X out of him, Devontae Lamb, and McLaurin. Here's the thing, if you're talking about pure X in terms of a big-bodied guy, sure. But Lamb and Devontae can play the X. You don't have to be a big-body guy to play the X. For the X, you can be a quick guy because you can get off press that way. So the X isn't just a guy who's big. The guys like Marvin Harrison, Chad Johnson, they were X receivers too. So I kind of like the versatility of the guys that we mentioned, but I totally understand where you're coming from. All right, so Dallas Goedert's going to be in. Let's get to the rest of the skill positions because we have to do 5. So we finished the skill positions. Mm-hmm. Are we sticking with the 3 wide receivers, or is there a second running back or a second tight end you'd want to put in over Devontae Smith?
I mean,
for me, no. For me, I would go with the 3 wide receivers.
I know running back, the second best is we're all agreement. Second best is probably Zeke, but
yes.
I would stick with the standard 3. This is a passing league. I would stick with the 3 wide receivers and the 1 running back.
Okay, Pete.
Well, I mean, I may incline to go running back number 2, but you guys 2 out. I'm outvoted already, so we're sticking with 3 wide receivers.
I was thinking for Zeke too, but I'm like, the thing is I like Devontae over, and plus, I don't like I said before, for the exercise of building forward. I hope that Zeke bounces back, but based on last year, that's a question mark. We don't know if he's starting to show a lot of tread on his tires or not. I'm not saying he is over the hill. All I'm saying is that is a question mark. Whereas with Devontae, I like his potential moving forward over the question marks I have over Zeke, if that makes sense. But I don't think you're wrong for saying you'd rather have Zeke on the roster. I just, I'd rather go with Devontae, and Jeff agree. So we're going to go with the 3 wide receivers. Controversial already, but we're going to go with that. All right. So the offensive line should be easy. All right. So left tackle, Tyron Smith. Any disagreements?
Nope.
Anyone there at left tackle that you would?
Oh, I can't go outside of Tyron.
Okay.
I just don't know how much he has left in the tank. That's
I know, yeah. I'm looking.
That's the hard part about this exercise. It's like we think about it and we want to just be figurative, but like sometimes you can't turn that literal part of your brain off and know that this dude only played 3 games last year.
Yeah.
Right. When you look at the rest of the left tackles, it's slim picking.
Yeah. That's why Tyron almost gets it by default.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's
Candle Boy ain't gonna do it.
I know, and I like my Lotta, but let's not. I'm not kidding ourselves here. Right tackle, I'd go Lane Johnson. I would go Lane Johnson on right tackle.
I would tend to agree. I'm not sold on the rest of this list. You have Cornelius Lucas for the Washington football team.
Yeah, no.
Laurel Collins is solid, but I still don't put him ahead of Lane.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
And then you have Matt Pert for the Giants.
Yeah. I've heard that Matt Pert wasn't that bad last year, but again, he's no Lane Johnson.
No.
So, yeah. So, I'll put Lane. So, we have Lane. Left guard is, to me, it's clear-cut Zach Martin. Right?
Yeah, of course.
Zach Martin's the best guard in the league. So,
best left guard.
Left guard in the league.
They have Zach Martin here on ESPN as the right guard. They have Connor Williams as the left guard.
I know. Really? I didn't think he played left.
Really?
Yeah, Zach Martin's right guard, at least on the ESPN depth chart.
Can he change spots? Anyone know? Is he interchangeable? Because that's tough.
But so let's say if he can't, right? Is Connor Williams still the best left guard? I would have to say he probably is.
I would say so as well.
What does Brandon Scherf play? Do you play right guard too?
I think he's right.
Oh,
Scherf.
All right.
I think he's right as well.
Scherf is right as well.
Yeah.
Left guard is Wes Schweister.
Because I'm looking at the rest of the left guards. It's slim pickings. It's really bad. Like Shane Lemieux on the Giants. Yeah. You've got Connor Williams is solid, but I don't think Connor Williams is that great. Eric Flowers on Washington. No, sorry.
Yeah.
They have Isaac Seumalo.
Yeah, Isaac Seumalo is solid. But let's cheat a little bit here, guys. I think we just move one of them to left. I can't put one of those guys on the roster and not have 2 of these 3 studs on there.
Or we throw the wild card in, and similar to Devontae Smith with expectation, and maybe we have Landon Dickerson as already the best left guard in the game.
There's a left guard. I don't know, but the thing is, these 3 guys are all studs.
Yeah.
Right guard is going to be tough.
Here's what I do. My vote. I would move either Scherf or Brooks to left guard, and then I put Zach Martin at right guard. That's what I would do. So it's either Brandon Scherf or Brandon Brooks at left guard, in my opinion.
I'm gonna go Scherf. Just the fact. No offense to Brooks, but 3 straight injuries.
Yeah.
In the season.
Yeah.
I just don't we brought up before. I don't know how much he has left in the tank. If anyone can come back from that, it's him. He's shown that he can come back from stuff like that, but that's devastating. That's gonna be difficult.
Yeah.
So.
I'm more confident in moving Martin to left guard and then letting Scherf stay at right guard.
Okay, that's fine to me.
Yeah, that works.
We have 2 of them, yeah. As long as we have the 2 of them.
Yeah, Martin Scherf, or if we go by just guard alone, those are the top 2.
Yeah, those are the 2. Okay, perfect. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do. And then center, I think it's still easy. I think it's Jason Kelce. I still think it's Jason Kelsey. Is there anyone that you guys would consider over him?
Ooh, I mean, I couldn't even think of the other centers in the division. I mean, the Cowboys guy retired last year on Travis Frederick, so
exactly.
that was probably the only other person I would give him a run for his money.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Tyler Biat. I know Biadasz or something on the Cowboys.
Out of West Virginia, right?
Yeah. And then you've got Nick Gates on the Giants. I think Nick Gates would be the next best one. But yeah, I think it's almost by default. It's Jason Kelsey. All right. So that rounds out our offense. All right. So the recap, guys. The recap. Quarterback, we got Dak Prescott. Running back, we've got Saquon Barkley. We've got wide receivers are Terry McLaurin, Devontae Smith, and CeeDee Lamb. Tight end, you've got Dallas Goedert. Left tackle, you've got Tyron Smith. Left guard, Zach Martin. We cheated with that, but we put Zach Martin left guard. Center, Jason Kelsey. Right guard, Brandon Scherf. And right tackle, Lane Johnson. I like it.
Middlebrook says he'll take Ryan Ramczyk over Lane Johnson. Is Ryan Ramczyk is he in the NFC East?
No, he's not.
No. Yeah, we're only doing NFC East.
We're only doing NFC East, guys. Okay, so here's where it gets tricky. This is the really difficult one. All right, because there are so many different ways we can do the defense, and so I'm just going to read off some players for the defensive line, and we're just going to try to figure it out as we go. All right, so. For the defensive line, starting at edge, the options are DeMarcus Lawrence.
Just left edge or just right edge, or just doing edge?
We're just doing edge in general because I just want to read them off real quick. At edge, you've got DeMarcus Lawrence, Jonathan Allen, Chase Young, Montez Sweat. Anyone else that I'm missing that would be in consideration?
I mean, if you want to put, they're long shots of Brandon Graham, stuff like that, but I mean. Really, at the end of the day, it should be Chase Young and either DeMarcus Lawrence or Montez Sweat. Who's the Giants' edge? I know they're stronger on the inside.
Giants, they have who's on their outside? Ryan Anderson and Azeez Ozolori.
Oh yeah,
no.
Oh, the rookie. Yeah, they got that rookie. No. Azeez. No, but I would lean Lawrence and Chase. I personally would lean Lawrence and Chase. Anyone disagree?
I would lean more Young and Sweat.
You go Young and Montez Sweat.
Montez Sweat.
You like Sweat?
Not Josh Sweat. Not Josh Sweat, Jeff.
Oh no, not Josh Sweat. Montez. Montez is a stud. Montez is really good. So I'm not opposed to Montez over DeMarcus Lawrence. Jeff, what do you think?
Chase Young definitely has to be one of the two. I feel that in my opinion, and I'm more inclined with DeMarcus, but yeah, Montez Sweat had a decent season last year with 9 sacks. So
I know some Washington fans, the ones that I was on their podcast earlier this year, they say that some of them think Montez Sweat has as high of a potential as Chase Young.
Yeah,
these are guys that are as close to the situation. So I don't mind it. I mean, if Jeff and I are indifferent, and Pete, you'd rather go Montez Sweat, I don't mind putting Montez Sweat. Jeff, do you mind? All right, Montez Sweat over
younger, that body frame, it allows itself to less injury prone, that lankiness, and then when you got the fucking stud on the other side.
Yeah.
You would say the NFC East is screwed going up against Washington's front four or their front seven.
I know. It's crazy. All right. So for the interior, we're going to pick 2 guys for now. And then as we go along, we'll see if we want to take one out in favor of another linebacker. But spoiler alert, I doubt we will, looking at the linebacker core. But let's go with two interior defensive lines. Choices are Leonard Williams, Fletcher Cox, and who else am I missing? That would be up for.
Doesn't Giants have Dexter? Is it Dexter Lawrence?
That's right. Or Dexter Lawrence. Right?
He's a technically defensive end. They're nose tackle and they're 3-4 defense.
Yeah.
Danny Shelton.
Yeah, he would be. Well, he would be interior.
Yeah, you can consider him.
You can consider him. Washington does also have Jonathan Allen on the interior.
Yeah.
So we've got options. So I said Leonard Williams, Fletcher Cox, Jonathan Allen, and Dexter Lawrence. I would definitely go Leonard Williams as one of them. Now it gets interesting because a few years ago, Fletcher Cox would be a lock.
Right.
But is he fallen off to the point where now we have to consider either Allen and or Lawrence over him?
I would not trying to play homer. I would probably still put Fletcher Cox. Look, the numbers aren't there, but when you watch tape, and Chucks, you watch as much tape as anyone, you know how much opposing offenses game plan to try to shut down Fletcher Cox in the middle of that line. The fact that they continue to double team him and that respect factor is there. There's a reason why this dude's been a Pro Bowl and All Pro for most of his career. So I would still put Fletcher Cox, in my opinion, as the second defensive tackle.
Okay. All right. Pete, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, he's getting older, but in a literal sense, if you put this team together, he's never had a guy next to him like Leonard Williams who's starting to find his stride. No more doubling, one-on-one matchups across the board. I mean, if you're just looking at it from a talent perspective, take age out of it. If you take the players that they on their best days, I mean, he's better than Jonathan Allen still. Okay. He's better than Dexter Lawrence.
Okay. All right. I don't mind it at all. I was leaning toward Cox, but I wanted to make sure I wasn't being a homer. All right, so we're going to go with those two at the interior. All right, so linebacker, this is the first position in the whole exercise where it's like –
How many are we picking? 3?
Well, we can discuss it. We can talk about – we have to pick at least 2. But if we want a third, we have to take out one of the defensive linemen.
You already know who one of them is. I mean –
one of them is going to be Micah Parsons, right?
I mean, that's a given.
Right, that's a given. So, I mean, okay, going team by team, outside of Micah Parsons, Eagles don't really have anyone. I mean, the best one we have is Eric Wilson, right?
Yeah. He's a good coverage linebacker, that's about it.
Yeah. Washington has – I mean, they have Yamin Davis, the rookie.
He's a rookie.
I mean,
he's raw.
Yeah, how high are you on Yamin Davis? I mean, John Bostic, Cole Holcomb is actually pretty solid. Cole Holcomb is actually solid. Giants have they do have Blake Martinez, who is a little overrated, but he's
tackling machine.
He's a tackling machine. He's overrated, but he's a tackling machine. So if you want to go off production, we could go that route. The Cowboys, they do have, outside of Parsons, they have Jalen Smith, who is questionable with that knee, and they have Van Der Esch. So
he can't stay healthy. So
I would probably gamble on the health, and I would go Leighton Van Der Esch. Yeah. If not Van Der Esch, then I'd be good with taking the risk on the rookie, Yamin Davis. But tell me what you guys are thinking. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, looking at that list right off the bat, of course, Micah Parsons and the second name, I agree with you. As bad as he played last year, Van Der Esch, I still feel is going to rebound, and he's definitely the better of the linebackers on the rest of this list.
For me, I'm getting my stud in Parsons. Yeah. I need someone to balance him out, and I probably would go Blake Martinez.
You'd want to go Martinez
because I just need somebody that may not be as athletic on the talent level, but just fundamental and getting to the spots where he needs to be within the defense.
Okay.
I would trust Martinez to do that more.
Who did you say, Jeff?
I agreed with you originally. If you want to go with Blake Martinez, I'm okay with that.
I'm okay with it. I'm looking at the comments. We City Empire says Blake Martinez. I'm assuming you're a Giants fan, so you're gonna say Blake Martinez. Will says Jimmy Davis.
He's a very well-rounded. He's a very well-rounded linebacker. He's a guy that can do it all. He's a tackling machine. He can play in coverage. He causes some turnovers, and he
doesn't do anything special.
No,
but he's solid enough. Don says Parsons and Blake. Will says Parsons and Mean. Mike McFly says LVE. A lot of people go with Blake, so let's go with Blake. Because a lot of the commenters seem to like Blake.
That and screw it. We don't want two freaking Dallas Cowboy linebackers on our defense anyway. So
There it is.
There's enough that we have one.
That's fine with me. So Blake Martinez. Okay, so are we going? Or do we want to include Leighton Vander Esch at the expense of one of the defensive linemen? I'm going to say an emphatic no. But what do you guys say?
I would say no. I kind of feel there's a little bit better secondary players that we can do 3 cornerbacks or something along those lines rather than the linebacking position.
Yeah. P, you agree?
I agree.
Okay, all right.
The talent of Vander Esch does not outweigh the talent of the 4 defensive ends that we have.
If there's a safe race of this defense, it's probably going to be the defensive line. So, corners. I think the top 2 are pretty clear cut. I think the top 2 are Slay and Bradbury. What do you guys think?
Yes.
Yeah? Okay, so that's established. Let's move on to the safeties, and then let's see what we're going to do with that 5th defensive back. So safeties. I personally, but we could go in different directions. I would have Anthony Harris at free safety and Jabril Peppers at strong safety.
I like that. I wish we had that.
I wish we had
that way you get a guy in Harris who, once again, almost like that Blake Martinez role, just the right spot, the right time, fundamentals, and then you get the athletic freak that can really just go out there and make plays. You know what I mean? And that's what Peppers is. That's why he works so well in that New York Giants defense, because they have that kind of setup where they can let Peppers be more free.
Yep.
So,
Jeff, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm on board with that.
Good. Awesome. All right, so that's set. That's established. That's good. What are we going to do with the 5th defensive back? Because we have options. We have the slot. Okay, so we could do with the slot. We have William Jackson. We also have Kendall Fuller, who's a solid slot. Was from Washington, went to the Chiefs, won a Super Bowl, went back to Washington. Yeah. So there are options in the slot. We could go with a 3rd safety. We could name one of the safeties that didn't get mentioned. We have Julian Love could be a 3rd safety and have Anthony Harris kind of split time. You know what I mean? But what direction should we go with a traditional slot guy, or do you want to go big nickel and go with the safety of the guys that we have available?
Is there another versatile safety out there? Like maybe I'm thinking the name. He's on the Giants. Is it McKinney?
Xavier
McKinney.
Somebody like that.
2nd-year player, was hurt, right, for most of last year?
Yes.
Ooh, another rangy guy.
Exactly. Looking for jacks of all trades here, man.
Yeah. I'm just looking over the roster just to make sure.
Yeah.
But I think I like that route. I think I might go with that 3rd safety. What do you guys think? Jeff, what are you thinking?
I'm down with that. Yeah, look, if Kendall or Fuller might be the only other option I would consider for that 3rd defensive back, but besides that, I'm sorry, there's no one outside of Slay I'm putting on this roster as one of the top corners. And you look at the rest of these rosters, it's slim picking. Besides, and as far as outside the stars, when you start getting into some of the depth pieces or a couple other spots, McKinney's the right choice in my opinion.
Yeah, I think also because I forgot about McKinney, but Cameron Curl solid too. Cameron Curl, that's another name that's a solid defensive back. There's not a lot of stars in the secondary in this division, but there's a handful of solid guys, and so it's it's kind of tough a little bit, but I think I'm going to lean that way. And so if we're going to do the 3rd safety, this is how I think we should do it. I think we should put Xavier McKinney at free safety and then have Anthony Harris as that hybrid safety to do both. Because I think Harris does have experience playing in the box a little bit and in the slot. Yeah. So you move him down so he can do a little bit of both. And then you have McKinney up top, playing center fielder, and then Peppers in the box of strong safety. I think that's a good combination.
Like I would see, and if we did that, I would think of Peppers more in like that safety role, that hybrid linebacker role too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep. I like it. All right, so that's a defense. Wow, we did it. Okay, so to recap the defense, at edge, we've got Montez Sweat on one side. On the other side, we got Chase Young. On the interior, we got Leonard Williams and Fletcher Cox. At linebacker, we went with Micah Parsons and Blake Martinez. At corner, we went with James Bradbury on one side, Darius Slay on the other. At safety, we've got McKinney and Peppers, and then Harris as the third safety in big nickel. All right, so let's do a tally. All right, let's see. I like the team. It's a little shallow, a little bit on the defensive end, especially on the back end, but it's not a bad team. Let's tally, and you guys tally with me just in case I forget anyone. So, Eagles players, I count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 Eagles players. Am I correct?
Yeah, I think that's roughly about right.
Okay. So Cowboys, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 Cowboys. Okay. Double check my math as I go along. Giants, we've got 1.
Should be 3.
For Giants,
4. It should be Saquon,
3,
Leonard Williams, Martinez, and then 5.
5.
5, yeah.
Okay, 5. And then Washington, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. 4. Am I missing something? So how many altogether? It's about 10, 14.
You should have 22.
I'm missing one.
Do you have Scherf?
I did count Scherf. Double check my Washington. Count 1.
I only have 4.
For Washington?
Yeah, I have Terry,
Double check my Giants one.
Scherf, Young, and Sweat. That's it.
Double check my Giants. I'm going to go through Giants again. So Barkley. I didn't see any wide receivers. Barkley. No one on the defensive line, offensive line. 2, 3, 4, 5 Giants. Maybe Washington I recount. I'm going to recount Washington. So Terry.
Yeah, we had Terry.
Surf. Sweat. Young.
That was it.
Is it Cowboys? It should be 6 on Cowboys. So Cowboys, it's Dak, CD, Tyron Smith, Zach Martin, Mika.
And that's it.
How many Giants do we have? Giants had Saquon. We're missing someone. Saquon.
So you said Eagles had 7, right?
Yeah, because we're at 21. Saquon, Leonard Williams, Blake Martinez, James Bradbury. Oh, Jabril
McKinney.
Yeah, McKinney. There you go. So Giants have 6. Sorry, guys. Sorry, viewers. Sorry, this is took us a little while. We're a little light on that. So, all right. So we got
from math.
Interesting. Man, I really hope this doesn't seem like a homer list because the Eagles lead the way with 7 players. Second is Giants with 6, and then the Cowboys with 5, and Washington with 4. And that's so odd because on paper, I would say Washington has the best all-around team in the division, but they only have 4 people on here. It shows how weird this exercise is.
But I think Washington is the best coach team.
Yes.
And I was about to ask that. Since we're doing an NFC East team, out of the 4 head coaches, who would you pick to be this head
Ron
coach?
Rivera.
Ron
Ron
Rivera.
Rivera.
I'm just making sure we're all on the same page.
Yeah. Absolutely,
Rivera.
Ron Rivera. And I think with Washington, they're just very well balanced. Even though
Yes.
they might not have a lot of superstars, they have the depth. They have hardly any glaring weaknesses on both sides of the ball. So that's why I think they're good.
So if we go Ron Rivera, for me, Ron Rivera head coach, Patrick Graham DC, and then his name is escaping me from the OC from Dallas.
Kellen Moore.
Yeah.
I think that's the route I'd go with.
Don said we forgot kicker. Who's the kicker?
Oh shoot, kicker.
Oh, I didn't know we were doing kicker, so I didn't bring it up.
Who's the kicker? So we got Greg Zuerlein on the Cowboys. We've got Graham Gano on the Giants. Washington's got Dustin Hopkins, and then Jake Elliott.
Zuerlein.
Okay.
The Leganator.
Yeah. Do we have to pick a punter or no?
No.
Okay, go pick a punter.
We're going for with this team. We're going for it on fourth down every time.
Yes, I like that.
We turn it over.
Even if we're in our own territory.
Yeah, who cares?
We have the talent enough. Oh man, that was good. I want to post this somehow. I think it's a good list.
Okay.
Maybe I'll use it from one of my articles and just put it on an article form. But it's a good list. Good list. And look, we're right up on time. We're at 10 o'clock or 10:02. We got to get the hockey guys on there.
Yes.
Do you guys have any last comments before, like really quick, no huddle topics you want to get into before we say goodnight to the fam?
Real quick for me, last night was the hardest night for me to watch an NBA Finals game in the last 5 minutes because these refs, listen, Giannis smacked two people in the face, bro. Two people in the face. And then the broadcast team, it's just like I don't want to see. I want to feel the game to be won on the court. And I mean, Giannis, like any other time somebody gets hit in the face, they look at it for a flagrant. And then that was Jay Crowder. Then right after that, Chris Paul just magically loses the ball after he gets Hassan chopped in the face by Giannis. So it's 2-2. This is what the league wants. I think the league is going to want it to go 7. I don't want the influence on the game to be that blatant.
Yeah.
That blatant.
To me, the one thing that keeps me from getting so invested into basketball still is the officiating. I have never, ever liked the fact that stars get favorable calls, and I've hated the inconsistency of NBA officiating. And I think that the NBA should. I saw a tweet last night. It's time to bring in FIBA refs into the NBA, and it's absolutely it's absolutely true. Get those refs, that officiating into the NBA, because the officiating is really hurting the sport. Really hurting the sport. Jeff, you got anything before we head out?
Nope, not really. All I can say is less than 2 weeks till Eagles training camp kicks off. Football's right around the corner. Let's get this shit on the road. It's going to be a great season.
Yeah. The one thing I wanted to say, I know we did running back rankings a few weeks ago. ESPN just came out. I know you have to be an ESPN Plus subscriber, so if you're not going to be able to view it. But they did come out with an article with the top 10 running back rankings. Mm-hmm. And the way they did it was they interviewed a bunch of scouts and executives across the league. They cross-referenced it. They did a lot, they got quotes and, analysis on them. And I don't say a lot of good about ESPN, but that article, their rankings, I haven't checked out the other positions. They have other positions too. But those rankings that's a good list. Yeah. And seeing lists from MJD and his garbage and comparing it to what ESPN put out. ESPN did a masterful job. What I like about it is they gave detailed quotes from scouts and executives explaining their reasoning. They gave ranges that these players were ranked, and you see that even though you could disagree with one of them where their exact spot is, but they'll give you a range of where executives viewed them, and so it gives you an idea of what these executives and people feel about these players going forward. It's not about just having them at 1 or 2. It's about having them like they could be the like one guy said like CMC could be the best running back, but that health is a concern. And another executive said the same thing about Saquon. They said Saquon's the most talented guy, but health is a concern. And it's completely fair. They even had some quotes about some honorable mention guys, which I loved. Jonathan Taylor, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Kareem Hunt, Miles Sanders was on there too. A guy said he was underrated. So it's a marvelous job. You know, I spent a lot of time trashing that company, but if I see something about that, you know, that they do good, I'm going to definitely praise them. And it's good. It's nice to see a good running back rankings article out there for once. So wanted to give them a shout out. I forget who did it, who was the author behind it. I'll give them some credit. But yeah, if you have ESPN Plus, definitely check out that article. Yeah. All right, gentlemen. It was a good show. Good show. We did it. We agreed on a good team. I'm going to do my best to try to get this out there.
Jeremy Fowler, who did it.
Jeremy Fowler. Thank you, Jeff. Thank you so much. But, fam, thank you for listening for another week, for tuning in to Birds of a Feather. We greatly appreciate it. We love you guys. We wouldn't be here without you. So thank you again from the bottom of our hearts. The show was brought to you by our sponsors, starting with Paul Vidal, a specialized physical therapy. We also got All Campus. Make sure you're 20% off. A lot of these sponsors use your promo code A2D. Okay, so I'm not gonna mention with each one, but we got the Counseling Center and Sunrise Detox. We got Philly Drinkers. We've got Body Check Wellness, Manscaped. I already mentioned specialized physical therapy. I forgot to mention earlier, but we've also got Alan Foy of EXP Realty. And if you guys want an extra next level experience with A2D, sign up for A2D memberships, $9.95 a month. You get a lot of perks with it. So definitely give that a shot. $10 a month is not bad. It's really not bad. All right, fam. For myself, Chucks, my boy Pete, and my boy Jeff below, we appreciate you giving us love and support. We will be back next week with more football talk. But until then, have a good night. Stay safe, and God bless. We will see you in a week. Peace out, gentlemen.
Peace.